Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Weather alert for those of you that live in northern Missouri, Iowa, probably over in Illinois and Indiana. There's a weather system moving through and it's causing quite a bit of, it's tearing things up, but it's going to get worse. Starting in this evening, parts of southern Missouri are going to be experiencing that, and it's moving eastward. So if you live east of southern Missouri, you should probably be aware of that. And the reason why I'm bringing this up so much is because here lately the storms have been crazy. Now, could this be weather modification? Could this be solar activity? Could it be a little bit of both? I don't know. But the fact is we've seen between, stuff going on in Kansas and Oklahoma and Texas, some really, really crazy storms. And this one, I mean, I'm no weather guy, but it looks like it could be another one. So just be ready for that. That's part of being prepared, is to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Mention again, our big meeting is this weekend. So please plan to attend this Sunday, same time, same place as always. Should be an excellent meeting. Have a good speaker coming in this weekend to talk. So if you can make it, please do so. Big alert though, and I'm not trying to spread fear, and I'm not trying to get some clicks and all that kind of stuff. I think this is a really big deal. The South, the Association of Southeast Asian Countries. It makes up 10 countries. I don't remember all of them. Taiwan, Philippines, Malaysia, several others. They have a combined GDP of $4 trillion. So they're not huge nations, but they're still nations. They have all unanimously voted to dump the US dollar, and that they will no longer be using US dollars for any type of cross-border trades. This is big, folks. Now, you may not see something big and flashy in the news on this, but over the last couple of years especially, quite a few places around the world have either A, done it already, or B, are threatening to do it, and that is walk away from the US dollar. I think that people have just got so conditioned to hearing stuff going on that they're kind of glazing over on the importance of this. For those of you that are old enough, my age and older, you remember a time that when if a nation even hinted of not using US dollars, we went to war with them. We assassinated their government. We overthrew their government. Assassinated their leader and overthrew their government. If they even hinted. Or our naval fleet, a whole carrier group showed up at their, shores and said, you sure you want to drop the US dollar? You might want to rethink that. And over the last couple of years, it's been one after another that they're saying that they don't want to use our currency anymore. BRICS, the whole BRICS thing, and it's growing and growing. I don't know how many is even part of it now. 20-some nations. There's, I believe, 34 new nations this year that are wanting to be part of BRICS. And they're all saying that they don't want to be on the US dollar. They don't want to use it. The US dollar's been so weaponized. It's so big with problems, with the amount of debt and the spending. The world is seeing that the US dollar is not all flashy like it once was. I mean, there's still a lot of people in the United States, there's still a lot of people watching this channel right now that will say, oh, it's nothing. The US dollar will be here forever. Nothing's going to happen to the US dollar. I very much disagree. The world is moving to digital currency, to central bank digital currency, and the US dollar cannot stand if the world goes to central bank digital currency. They want it to collapse, I believe. I believe the powers at the Fed, the powers at the US Treasury, the powers that rule both of those, they want the US dollar to collapse. It's a way for them to consume the last bits of wealth that the American people have. The US dollar, I believe very strongly, is going out, and it's probably happening a lot faster than what you believe. It's been several months back, but Janet Yellen actually kind of, in a way, admitted that the US dollar, she said, oh, it would be years, maybe decades before that happens. I don't think it's going to be years or decades, folks. I wouldn't be surprised if it's before the end of this year. At the very least, 18 months. I think we could easily be seeing a dollar collapse over the next 18 months. And it may not be an all-at-once thing. Gold and silver they're just going up, 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 higher every day. More and more countries are dumping dollars, dumping U.S. debt. They're hoarding up gold. They're showing signs of being very much less interested in doing trade with the United States, especially with our currency. And it's not just Middle Eastern countries. It's not just Russia. It's not just countries that are adversarial to us. It's just more and more countries. African countries, Southeast Asia, even India. India is doing trade with Russia and China outside of the US dollar. It's not going to be that much longer, folks. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be tomorrow or next week, but it's not going to be that much longer. And when this happens, because it's not just going to be the US dollar collapse or the US dollar becomes worthless. It's going to be that the US dollar becomes worthless. We go through hyperinflation and a collapse in that way, and then they bring about digital currency. What a lot of people don't realize that, and I don't know the exact numbers, so I'm not giving you exact numbers, but about half of the US dollars that exist aren't in the United States. They're held in other countries. They're used for global trade. And as more and more countries say, we don't want to do trade in US dollars, what are they going to do with the US dollars that they have so that they can trade? They sell them off. They send them back to the United States. That's money that's not existing within our economy. And then it comes back in. It could be 1, 2, 5, 7, 10 trillion dollars. That's like printing that much more money. So it will cause on its own, just that on its own, will cause our money to inflate greatly, maybe even hyperinflate. If the amount of US dollars that exist in this country doubled, say within a matter of weeks, because all of these countries sending it back to us, because they're not using it anymore, that's basically the same thing as the Fed just creating more money out of nowhere, because it's money that's US dollars that exists, but it's not US dollars that exists in our economy. It's existing in other countries' economies. And it's going to be bad. It's also going to mean that the rest of the world really isn't going to be afraid of the United States anymore. We have no power in that way. One of the things that America has been able to do because of our currency is sanctions. We threaten countries with sanctions. If you don't do what we want you to do, we will sanction you. Well, it's become quite apparent that those no longer work. Look at Russia. Their economy is booming. And we've sanctioned the snot out of them. Why? Because they're doing things outside of the US dollar. They're saying, okay, we'll just do it with other currencies, our own and other currencies. And it's working. It's not going to be a good day when this happens. When it is already happening. That's why we're seeing all this hyperinflation. That's why we're seeing the weakening of purchasing power in the United States. That's why we're seeing prices of everything going up, because our dollar is weaker. That's why gold and silver are going up, because our dollar is weaker. If you don't know what to expect when something like this happens, look to dollar collapses or currency collapses of Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Germany during the Weimar Republic. Look at what happened, what people went through. And it can give you a glimpse, a good idea of what to expect. It's going to be devastating when it happens. And what's different this time is that there's multiple other problems at the same time happening. So it would be like a cascading of events. If this was the first thing that really happened, many of these other problems could just start falling into place and happening also. And I do believe that this is planned. I do believe that this is what they want, so that they can unveil their digital currency and basically force everyone to do it. And then, well, then that's kind of end game. If you buy into that, you're done. And if you don't, you're completely on your own. Need to get ready for this, folks. This is very serious. This news today may not be the final shoe or anything like that, but these are nations that we don't have problems with. They don't have problems with us. It's not like saying that Iran isn't using US dollars anymore, or North Korea, or Russia. These are countries that are just, we do trade with them, and they're saying that they no longer want to be part of the US dollar. And what that means is as more and more nations do this and get away with it, there will be more and more nations running to do the same, because they don't want to be the last man on that boat as it sinks. And I think, again, this today is maybe more significant than the other de-dollarization things we've heard in the news, because most of those other countries were countries that we didn't like and they didn't like us anyways. These are just countries that are saying, we want to use local currencies. We're not interested in the US dollar anymore. It's got too many problems with it. And as more and more nations start doing this country is going to fall apart more and more and more. You need to be getting your houses in order, folks, and preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.